The most sought-after target in athletics, the 4-minute mile, was achieved yesterday evening on the Oxford University track at Iffley Road. Max Robertson reports.
Less than 3,000 people, mostly undergraduates, were there to see Roger Bannister break all mile records on the same ground on which he had run his first mile race. Up till yesterday, the world record for the mile stood at 4 minutes 1.4 seconds. But as Bannister lined up for the start in this race between the 3As and Oxford University, he knew that he had two colleagues with him who'd help him beat that time. This is the story of the race in one continuous film sequence, a sequence that runs just under 4 minutes. Everything went to plan. Chris Brasher, with whom Bannister had been training, took the lead. Bannister lay second, and Chataway was coming up into third place. 150 yards gone, and it's Brasher first, Bannister second, Chataway third. That was the way the three of them had planned it. Brasher to set the pace at first, Chataway to take over later. The end of the first quarter-mile lap. Time, 57.4 seconds. They were ahead of the clock. And still, Brasher set the pace, Bannister second, Chataway third. The end of the second lap, and half a mile gone. Time, 1 minute, 58.2 seconds. Still ahead of the clock. But there was another half mile to go. Could they keep up the pace? "1,100 yards gone, and Chataway starts to spurt ahead. He overtakes Bannister and then Brasher, and the gallant Brasher, having achieved his selfless pacemaking task, drops behind. Now it's Chataway leading, Bannister second. The three-quarter-mile mark, and the time, 3 minutes, 0.5 seconds. Bannister, still in second place, would have to do his final lap almost as fast as his first one to beat the 4-minute mile. "250 yards to go, and Bannister takes over. Watch his giant stride take him to the front as he races the last lung-bursting furlong to the finishing post. This was it, the final effort against the seconds that have kept him and many others from the 4-minute mile. The tape is broken, and so is the record athletes have long been dreaming about. But at first, Bannister knows little about it. He stumbles into the arms of his coach, completely exhausted by his magnificent effort. And that's how Roger Bannister, the 25-year-old medical student, became the first man in the world to run a mile in under 4 minutes. 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds, to be exact. and only a small crowd saw him do it. Bannister's first thought on recovering was to thank the people who had made his record possible, the groundsmen at the Iffley Road track among them. Roger Bannister had achieved a new peak in the history of sport, and still slightly breathless, Bannister spoke to television newsreel.
Well, all I can say is that I'm absolutely overwhelmed and delighted. It was a great surprise to me to be able to do it today, and I think I was very lucky. In this country, weather is always very much against running a fast time, and today I thought the wind was probably much too strong. But we did have a slight lull, and so there comes a moment when you've just got to try it. And I was very lucky to have my two friends, Chris Braysher and Chris Chataway, who helped to make some of the running earlier on. And I certainly attribute a lot of it to their presence in the race, which gave me that extra spur to go on.